Previously on the Adventure Zone.
Minerva finds herself uncharacteristically unprepared for what she sees through her portal. It is not Sylvain. What Minerva sees is light. Pieces of a puzzle that she's been solving her entire life begin sliding slowly closer together. He holds out this black case, and inside you see that orange brick, the explosive Simtex.
One of the three of us is known to spontaneously catch fire, so
yeah, it's not great.
I'm going to hand it to the adult, Duck.
What is it that you hope to accomplish?
Peace. I'm looking for peace.
Everybody seems to be re-energized. You can hear the interpreter's unspoken pleas. You have powers beyond anything I've ever seen, Aubrey. You've restored life to the dead. Aubrey, you're not from Sylvain. You are Sylvain.
So when you say, I am Sylvain, do you mean that in the way of if a lieutenant said to a loose cannon cop, I'm taking you off the street, and the loose cannon cop said, you can't take me off the street, I am the street.
You say this and your voice is just echoing throughout this massive subterranean chamber as the elevator reaches the observation floor below. And right now, Aubrey, everybody is just looking at you, and Janelle responds and she says, yes, only in this example, you would be literally correct. You would be the street.
What? Okay, but Janelle, I don't mean to poke holes because listen, I love fan theories and you've got yourself a great one there, but I was a kid, in Earth, I have parents. I had a first kiss, and then the same night, a second kiss. It was a good night. And I grew up I went to school. I'm not a planet.
You're interrupted by a voice you hear in your mind as Alexandra is now speaking to you, and she says, Miss Sylvain, I humble myself before your blessed presence and beseech thee to intervene for the sake of your children. I offer up my spirit to receive your...
Ow, quiet. Too loud.
I offer up my spirit to receive your voice as my forebears did before me.
Alexandra, I hear you. Cool. I guess your spirit's mine now. I'm trying to talk to Janelle. Janelle?
Vincent grabs your hand as he's kneeling to the floor, and he says, Sylvain, my protector, I would like to confess my sins and vices, my most brilliant light.
Okay, I do kind of want to hear your sins and vices, but we'll do that later. Janelle, how do you mean? Am I possessed by Sylvain?
I'm not entirely sure of how your relationship works, Aubrey, but when you look at what you are capable of, when you look at what you can do, there is no other answer.
You do magic too? What are you talking? I'm not the only person who does magic.
I've never revived anyone as a ghost. I've never re-energized my cohorts, Aubrey. I feel it now. I feel your energy flowing through me, making me
gross,
stronger. Aubrey, I don't know how to talk to you right now. I've just discovered that you are the divine planet upon which I walk. So
okay, but you
this
just
is weird
said those
for all
words,
of us.
Janelle. You said those words out loud, you know how I am not. I'm not. You're not walking on me. I am a person standing over here talking, and I have. Hair. Planets don't have hair.
You hear a rumbling from below as you peek over the edge of this observation platform, and you see below you. You see, beneath this massive crystal, this void that just stretches down as far as your eye can see, and you see faint red light sort of flashing through it. And down there you hear the quell, and obviously, like, it is hard for you to tell by these noises what it is saying, what its intentions are, but you can tell that it's angry. And Janelle says, Aubrey, listen to me. Has my wisdom ever led you astray?
No. Well, you kind of fucked up with the mountain thing.
That was my bad.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. Thank you.
I don't want to get in, but I mean, everybody gets one.
We will figure out the hows and the whys and the what fors after we have saved our planets. But Aubrey, you need to trust me. You hold Sylvain within you. You hold Sylvain within you, and the Quell is furious and attempting to destroy both of our worlds because the Quell thinks that Sylvain is gone forever. The Quell's the counterpart to the light of Sylvain. They are two halves of one whole. They're the force that holds this world together. And right now it's raging because it thinks Sylvain is gone. But it's you gotta show it, Aubrey. You need to show it that it's in you.
The Quell loves you. Quell's crazy about you.
Okay.
And Vincent speaks up. He says,
"Okay, wait. If she's supposed to show the Quell that she's Sylvain, why don't we just go back upstairs and, find one of those weird bug monsters or whatever, and she can just say it like, 'Hi, I'm Sylvain. Nice to see you again.'"
I'm not sure it works that way. What do you think, Janelle?
These monsters are just mere projections. You will need to, as corny as this sounds, speak to the heart of the Quell. And
it feels dangerous, though, right? Like, this seems...
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On our world, you can get sick from, like, cell phones. I can't imagine it's a good idea to be close to the Quell.
Okay. Listen, I'm fine with that. There's an element of danger in basically everything we've done for the last, forever. And so that's cool. I just want to make sure we are all on the same page about how heroic the thing I'm probably going to end up doing is. Okay, cool.
It's going to be epic. It'll be an epic story.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Thacker. Okay. Onward and downward, I
He's
guess.
just picking back up on the lingo, I guess.
Oh, I see.
Moving on.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to do an epic fail.
Oh, and now he's flossing. Oh, no. Thacker's flossing.
you all hear a gasp from behind you, and you turn to see Alexandra, and she's leaning over one of the sides of the viewing platform, and she shouts, something's coming! And from below, you hear this deep, amplified whistling, and you look over the edge and downward off this viewing platform, and you just see gray. The red light that was flashing below is just gone, and now it's just gray, dark gray at the bottom of this chasm. But the whistling, it continues and it gets louder and louder, and you realize that this gray is moving toward you like water boiling over a pot, and then it's right on you, and it stops just at the edge of the viewing platform, and there's like wisps of it just rolling over your shoes. It's stopped right there. And it's that same sort of cloud that you saw in the archway room. It's the same like smoke that you saw in the main drag outside, and it's just rushed upward to meet you and stopped just shy of like consuming this entire chamber that you're standing in, and it's just formed this sea of gray fog at your feet. It's silent in the room, and Vincent says,
"This is going to be very bad, isn't it?"
Yeah, that'd be my guess. What the fuck is this?
Something answers your question, and it's not any of you all. You see a small spire form in the fog. Just as something shoots upwards through it, you see just a small red shape just pop right up through the smoke. And as that appears, Vincent takes like a step back from the edge of the platform, and he's holding his cheek with surprise. And when he pulls his hand away, he's got a little bit of blood. He has a small cut on his face. And then you see dozens, hundreds more of these holes form in the mist as other small red bird-like creatures begin flying around the room, encircling the crystal in a flock. And as they go, you also see just like crawling up the walls, you see these red tubes, almost like almost like veins, like branching off one another and just encircling this entire chamber. And some of them, like the tallest of them, start reaching with like sickly arms across the void toward the crystal. And you also notice that a few like stalks of these like red tubes have started to encircle the edges of this viewing platform that you're standing on, just wrapping around its heavy supports, just creeping in your direction. What do you all do? Who wants to go first?
So you said there's like a swarm of things, right?
Yeah, it's like a one of those coordinated swarms, like a murder of crows,
Like a murder of crows,
or a conflagration of
a flamboyance of flamingos.
yes, and they are just like they are picking up around the edge of the room and starting to circle back towards the platform.
I am going to do a blast of magical flame, young wizard.
This is just an attack, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's see it. Kick some ass. Ooh, that's a good that's a good ass kicking.
+2, because currently I'm still down 1, right?
You're still down 1, yes.
So that gives me an 11.
Okay, what extra effect do you want to do in addition to your damage?
I'm going to put it, move it where I want it to keep it from flying at us.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So like a big enough blast that I both do damage and probably the heat is like gonna sear some of them away, you know?
Okay, I like that. Yeah. How much damage does your? Because I know you've like upgraded your nasty magic.
It is 4 damage total. 2.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 2 harm for fire and 2 harm for blast.
Okay. I mean, with that, like 3/4 of the birds, as they like all swoop and dive down at your party, are just incinerated instantly, and they just turn into this red mist that you see just get sucked back down into the cloud. And the rest of the birds, like you have your hand outstretched, and a few of them like zip by it, and your hand gets cut up a bit for 2 harm. But as they fly away, you notice that you have just like. You have obliterated pretty much all of them at this point, and just a scant few birds are now beginning their loop back around the room. Thacker, what do you do?
I think Thacker jumps off the observation platform into the gray mist.
Okay. Thacker's gone. Duck, what do you...
That's a chill run. Dad, you got a third character lined up there? So what's up?
What's Kirby been up to?
I've always have another character lined up.
Do you just do it? Do you say any dope shit before you do it, or do you just do it?
Dad's just trying to fill out our fucking action figure line at this point.
Make the show a little more toyetic.
And this is the one. Do you remember he did this for 2 episodes? Lightning Boy.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's so weird.
He's watching all this going on. He sees Aubrey, fighting off the birds. He sees Duck, planning whatever he's going to do. And I think he just stares down into this pit, that giant gray mass, remembers that that's where he had the big confrontation with the heart, and says, "You asked me if I was coming. Here I come." And just leaps off the observation platform, heading for the mist.
Okay. As Thacker foons off the edge of the viewing platform, he sends just a cloud of this mist just like shooting upwards as he leaves like almost a cartoonish Thacker-shaped hole in the cloud, and you see him fall. Thacker, why don't you act under pressure for me?
There's an 8 plus -1. Because you wouldn't let me do the other things.
Right.
Oh, wait. Just another day. When you have to act under pressure due to a monster phenomenon or mystical effect, you may roll plus weird instead of plus cool.
There you
Okay.
go. That
Plus
counts.
weird to 8 is a 10.
Thacker, you feel like you've felt this before. You feel this cool mist like blowing across your face as you dive into the platform, and you feel it trying to take you over. And as you are like resisting it, you feel this mist get angry, and you suspect that like you are the only one in the room who could pick up on that. And you also see like red streaks soar by you as more entities like climb up the walls of this room to attack the people coming in from the top. And you manage to, for whatever reason, not just get completely, demolished by one of these things. And let's just leave Thacker falling for a little bit. Duck, what do you do?
I'm going to start hacking at the things that are trying to ensnare the viewing platform.
Okay, there's basically there's some on the left side of the platform where Vincent is standing, and then there's some on the other side of the platform where Janelle and Alexandra are standing. Janelle ran over there to pull Alexandra away from the edge.
I'm gonna head on over to Vincent's side because I think that those other two have it handled.
Okay, you're gonna kick some ass.
Yeah, kick some ass. Whatever the ass of weird pipe vines are.
Listen, we learned this from the expansion children's book for this game. Everything's got an ass.
That's 20d6. Which got me 66.
Whoa!
Wow.
Really
explodes.
No asses are left.
You rolled
No
a
asses remain.
66.
Wow, cool.
That's pretty close.
11 plus 2 is a 13.
Jesus Christ.
And I have an advance move.
Ooh.
I'll kick some ass. When I leveled up, it took advanced.
What does it do now?
I can pick an enhanced effect on a 12 plus, which is what I have.
Oh my God.
I'm going to, my attack drives the enemy away in a route.
God.
So that is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
'Cause that's all I need it to do.
What's this look like?
I kind of feel like he's frantically sort of like watching someone chop at vines that, growing on the side of their house in a rage. I think that Beacon is so excited to have something to hit repeatedly that it's almost kind of a blur, just him swinging Beacon over and over again, just hacking them with what appears to be, from the numbers, a real intense brutality.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I think with that extra effect, the harm is no longer important. Like this thing, you just sever it, and it sprays this red mist up and into the air as it unspools from where it was holding onto the platform, and it falls down into the mist. And you see the other arm that was holding this spasm in a panic, and also fall back down. And some of these veins that were all around the walls also kind of start to slink. The ones that were reaching out towards the crystal, these long, sinewy red arms, they droop down and splash down into the mist.
And then Duck says, looks like that time Swordman had the edge. Guys, I'm thinking about Swordman.
Ooh.
How is that? Is that anything?
If you go with Swordman.
You're in the pit.
Oh.
Here in the pit. Another for me.
You see Janelle and Alexandra take a step back from where that other tentacle just kind of got destroyed. And you see them as they take a step back, the edge of the viewing platform that they were standing on completely collapses from where this tendril started to smash against it. And you can tell that Janelle's mind is reeling about what to do, and she turns to the two of you and she says, I know you haven't known Thacker all that long. I haven't either, but should we trust him?
Oh, with the jumping? It's pretty shitty up here, and it's probably a little shittier down there, but it's just gonna get shittier up here, so yeah. And Aubrey jumps.
Okay. Duck, you are now standing on the platform with Vincent, who looks like shit his pants terrified that everybody's jumping off the platform. And Janelle shrugs her shoulders, and Alexandra looks kind of nervous, but grips her hand tight, and the two of them jump off the platform. And now it's just you and Vincent. And Vincent says,
someone should stay up here and defend the elevator, I think.
Are you volunteering, or were you hoping I would? Or
I'm just saying they could get up the elevator and hurt all the people up in the castle, and so I'm gonna protect these survivors.
And he goes and he stands on the elevator and strikes a combat pose, holding his spear, and he says,
You've got an appointment, I think, at the center of the world. So, good luck, Duck.
Yeah, you kind of volunteered me to jump off
Duck.
the elevator, huh?
I wish you the luck of the ancients, Duck.
That's nothing.
I wish you
but listen.
the luck of the stars.
And the birds like swoop down, and he like eviscerates a couple of them, and like kind of weaves around them. He says,
Okay, this is fun, but it's pretty bad up here, so...
You don't have to goat me into it. And then I fall off the edge. That's a Swordman original.
Duck, you are falling. You know what? Aubrey wouldn't need to. Duck, why don't you roll to act under pressure? God,
11.
heaven, that's another 11.
Roll 20 knows. When we're in a finale territory, it knows.
Yeah. Duck, you felt this way like slightly when you were in the room in the FBI headquarters where the archway was, but now now that you're closer to the core, like you feel like this thing is trying to take a hold of you. And it's like nothing. It is like nothing. You shrug off the Quell's influence just effortlessly.
Plus my 2, I rolled a 13.
Okay.
So my other advanced one that I got was act under pressure. So I'm going to add, you may either do what you wanted and something extra, or do what you wanted to absolute perfection. I want my something extra to be, I want them to be afraid
You want the monsters to be afraid?
of me.
Okay.
He is dodging so good.
I want them to wonder what I am. I want them afraid.
You step off the viewing platform and the world just disappears, and you feel this quiet, cold mist just whipping past your face, and you're falling through this dense, opaque cloud for what feels like ages, and you don't see anybody else who leapt off until, as quickly as this cloud enveloped your senses, you pass through the bottom of this strata of fog, and now you're falling down through just this gargantuan cavern, bigger even than the one you were just in, and you're going downward, closer to the core, and you see things in this room on the walls, climbing up through the passage you just fell through, and you see it by this pulsating red light. And the pulses are like slow, and you see these things like just nightmarish, enormous insects, and these huge like snakes, and these fast kind of like creepy twitchy apes, and all of these different like beasts made out of this red material, all just like clambering up towards the surface. As you fall and you get closer to the core, that pulsing, Duck, it starts to pick up. It starts to get a little bit faster. Almost like there is something happening to the Quell where you are doing something that it did not anticipate. And you see all of these different beasts start to react. You see these like apes that were like clambering all over each other to get upward. Now they're like fighting each other to jump back down. And you see one of the snakes, like this huge bullet train sized snake, just like fucking nope right back down the hole from whence it came. And then right below you, you see the rest of your party also falling, several dozen feet in front of you.
Aubrey waves.
Aubrey waves at you. Thacker is at the bottom, and you see Janelle and Alexandra all just like falling. And while like a lot of these, you've turned away a lot of these beings, you see some of them begin to strike. You see a mass of these insects sprout wings and start fluttering toward you, and you see a few of these apes like howl and point at you and coil their legs and spring towards you like a bullet. And then the wall that they leapt from explodes, and they disintegrate, and the insects disappear in this cloud of debris, sending this red mist spraying in all directions. And as the chaos settles, you see two enormous eyes appear as all of you land gently and neatly in a 10-foot wide paw.
Aww.
And you see Heathcliff effortlessly swatting away these beasts, and he's smiling.
Who's a good boy?
You know I don't like that, but right now, Aubrey, it's me.
Yes, you are.
A world away, the town of Kepler, West Virginia, continues its unlikely battle against a would-be cosmic conqueror. Ranger Juno Divine races through the cramped hallways of City Hall, a crashing wave of quell terrors close behind. She slides beneath a makeshift barricade into the city council chambers, leaping over rows of folding chairs with track star grace and ease. The horde, several dozen strong, barges in behind her, annihilating the defenses hastily built by the combined strength of the West Virginia Forestry Service. Juno vaults a wooden railing, leaps off of a counselor's desk and onto the stage at the far side of the room. She takes a beat and surveys the size and ferocity of the coming storm. Then, she looks to her side and nods. A thick fire curtain drops inches in front of her. She dives backwards as the quell terrors collide with the thick, reinforced fabric. She smiles. Little secret about the Forestry Service, gang. We confiscate all manner of stuff trying to prevent forest fires. The beasts scratch at the curtain, their fury mounting. And unfortunately for y'all, I'm a pack rat. The doors into the chamber slam shut. Juno shouts a command from behind the curtain. Objects rain down from the gallery above. A gas canister, a propane tank, crackling projectiles from a Roman candle. The West Virginia Forestry Service cheers in unison as the otherworldly horde burns in a deluge of flaming contraband. East and down the river, Keith leads a squadron of loyal hornets against the nightmares pouring from a nearby rift. The stunt crew has been routed, driven to the flimsy roof above the skeletal remains of their former headquarters. As his companions throw bricks, boards, and buckets at their emboldened attackers, Keith's mind races with fear. He looks for a way out. He looks for hope on the horizon. He finds hope flying down the side of Mount Kepler. Hollis leads the remaining hornets, biking in formation, down the drag from cliffside, brakes sliding into the dirt lot surrounding the hornet's nest. The beasts turn to face them, but Hollis pays them no mind. Through the visor of their helmet, Hollis grins and nods at Keith. Keith smiles with relief on the verge of tears. Hollis holds up a hand, and their squadron revs their engines in unison. The terrors charge, and the bikes peel off. They snake in a perfect line, a furious circle around the battlefield. Dust whips up, mixing and overtaking the quell's supernatural storm. The beasts wail in protest. On the roof, Keith dons his helmet. The others do the same. One by one, they leap down, back into the storm, back into the fray. And atop Mount Kepler, Minerva and Leo Terkesian stand back to back, their blades cleaving air and quell flesh in a synchronized psychic dance. Leo growls, ramming his broadsword through the gut of an enormous vulture, grimacing with effort as he slams it to the ground in a shower of red mist. He kicks the terror off his blade and gasps with exhaustion as he turns to check on his fellow warrior. Minerva stands in a readied crouch, her blade held above her head and outward, her other hand outstretched in a fencer's pose. A knee-high pile of quickly decomposing quell invaders lie at her feet. She is completely motionless, even her breathing indiscernible. Leo catches a glimpse of her expressionless face in the moonlight. Minerva, not to quibble when we're fighting for our lives and all, but you are all there now, right? Her apprentice's words do not register at all. Minerva battles on pure reflex and instinct. Her mind is sunken into a contemplative trance. She ponders the world of light seen just beyond the archway. She ponders her own fallen homeworld and the world she destroyed. Outside of her mind, she strikes down another foe. Within, she knows it to be a hollow victory. Minerva pays little heed to the battle at hand. She is, as always, thinking of the battle to come. we see a tranquil scene deep below the surface of Sylvain. An enormous open temple with pillars of white stone sits in the middle of a shallow pond. Small streams of water fall from cracks in the ceiling above, raining down into this pond, framing the building, where small green beds of flowers have sprouted up through ancient tiles. And the scene is peaceful and still until Heathcliff Kool-Aid Mans it from a wall behind this temple, sending boulders crashing down into this pond. And he wriggles through this makeshift tunnel that collapses behind him and deposits you all at the entrance to this temple. And it looks a lot more like verdant and lively than anything else you've seen on the surface. And Heathcliff says, like, he's preening now. He's like trying to get all the dust and debris out of his fur. And he says, "Boy, y'all have to come up with better plans than that. You just jumped into a jagged, craggy cavern. Were you at least thinking happy thoughts?"
Well, my mom always said, if your friend jumped into a smoky cavern, would you? And it turns out, yes.
So it all comes down to peer pressure.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but you didn't
You're
even...
blaming peer pressure.
You didn't even put the peer pressure on. You just went. You didn't say shit.
I did. I said, yes, when I was coming, blah, 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 blah. Now
You didn't
I'm
say
coming.
it to us. You weren't
Don't
like,
remember
hey, here's why I'm going to jump. I know something you don't. I just assumed you knew something we didn't.
that? Yeah, but that's the whole cool line thing. You don't want to have to explain them.
I think next time you jump into a bit, you should give us like a 1-sentence synopsis of why.
Well put. I accept your criticism.
Okay. Yeah, so anyways, we didn't really have a plan, but it all seemed to work out.
You know, I'm going to make you pay for this, right? Not in like an intimidating way, but in monetarily speaking.
You mean like literally?
I guess I do mean it literally, yes.
Like literally we're going to pay for it.
Janelle and Alexandra are looking around this big stone temple, and you see Janelle like spark this green
Doobie.
small like doober in the middle of it, and she smokes out, and it's fucking funny. It's like Family Guy. No, she sparks this green flame and like makes a small campfire in the middle of this chamber, which is actually like kind of cold. And Alexandra's like looking around with wonder in her eyes, and you all see like this is obviously some sort of like ancient, holy place, and there are also like dirty big Heathcliff paw prints all over it, so you can tell that like Heathcliff chills in here for whatever reason. And he says, "Yeah, I'm sorry. It was the only place I could think to take you where I knew it was safe. So I got some dead fish."
Ooh.
I love that. Where are we right now in relation to the quell?
Alexandra is like looking around, and as she is looking, you see Janelle like kind of smiling at her, and Janelle says, "Tell them, Alexandra." And she turns and she says, "I think we're right above it." And she walks towards the rest of you, all around this green fire, and she says, "So if I'm right about this, when an interpreter comes of age, they make their pilgrimage to this place. It's called the Source, and it's the nearest that a Sylvan is allowed to approach the core where, Sylvain dwells, or I guess where the Quell dwells as well. That was unintentional."
That's nice though.
Yeah, very nice.
And Janelle says, "And I'm guessing from the paw prints that mar every inch of this sacred place that Heathcliff has been helping himself to this temple's font of arcane energies. Is that right, Heathcliff?" And he makes like an ain't I a stinker face.
And that would explain all the big cat duties around.
Hey, Heathcliff, did you used to be a normal cat, and then you got hit by these gamma rays or whatever, and now you're like a wild, giant, smart cat?
He puts his pinky claw like up to his mouth, and he's like, "I'll never tell."
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, well, something happened.
that's what I did.
Aubrey steps up into the green light. So it's really dramatic looking,
Yeah.
like really cool. Everybody, if we have a second here. I need to like take a moment of Aubrey time and like breathe and think for a second. I'm going to go like step over there. And she just kind of generally points somewhere else. So just give me a minute. And Alexandra, please don't like think any thoughts at me, please.
Okay. I'll go over there and like sing a little song or something to distract myself.
Okay.
Does anybody have any puzzles or some small puzzles or games? Probably not. That was stupid.
Duck, you always have puzzles.
All right, so if the man had seen the sawdust, he wouldn't have died. It's a lateral thinking puzzle. You can now ask me yes or no questions.
But that was like that's a thinking puzzle, Duck. Just like a...
What is invisible?
Okay.
Is
And
it animal,
weightless.
vegetable, or mineral?
Now listen, it's invisible, and you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. But if you put it in a barrel, it'll make the barrel lighter.
Aubrey walks away.
Helium. It's helium.
It's incorrect.
Aubrey, you walk away, leaving them entertaining Alexandra in the distance. What are you doing?
So Aubrey's going to kind of do a little meditation thing to try to talk to the magic like she has before.
Okay.
Okay, so magic. It's me, Aubrey. Any guidance at all, anything, any explanation, over and out?
I think it takes a while, and as you are meditating in this otherwise serene place, except for all of the riddles happening nearby, and even the sound of that is drowned out by the water falling eventually. It takes a while for you to like get in a place where you are able to have this conversation, and it's not really like before. It's you can't see her. You've seen her before, but like right now you cannot. But you can sense her in a way, and then you can sense like her experiences. You can sense her memories, and you did this once before with Alexandra, but this time it is obviously more powerful because you are remembering something from a deity's perspective. You are in the center of the planet, and just like looking all around at creation as you are just sort of constantly in a state of just always doing, and the quell is there too. And the two of you have these like shifting forms. You don't necessarily have just this one actual tangible form. And you're just sort of like marveling at the world. And then something happens that's actually happened a few times as of late. You sense the fear and the anger and the aggression of your people. And you leave the quell behind, and you go upwards. You go up and into the crystal where you usually interface with your people, and now you see them like in their battle attire, standing in defense around the castle. Some of them charging down the main drag at this platform at the edge of town where the archway appeared, and through that archway you see humans coming in, and you see them pushing a small like metal, it looks like a tube from a distance, and it wheels on wheels towards you, and you see somebody light a fuse at the back of it, and it explodes, and then you are shattered. It glances the side of this crystal that you were in, and now like for the very first time ever, you are disconnected from it. You are contained within a shard of it, and you see others. You catch your reflection in other shards as you fall to the ground. And with that explosion, you hear more, and your people retreat. And you're just lying on the ground looking upward until a hand picks you up and whisks you away back through the archway. And when you like finish that memory, you get the sense that it's not complete. It's like a friend telling you a story, but you can tell that like they are not telling you the whole version of it. You get the sense that like there are some walls up between the two of you. That is what happens during your meditation.
I mean, can I still feel her like presence?
You still feel her presence in the same way that you always have. But now you realize that, like, the reason that you don't think you are Sylvain, the reason that you don't feel like you have the powers of a goddess necessarily are because you have, like, you have this separation between the two of you, even though she's, like, still within you.
So you want to go back, right? I don't want to make you do anything you don't want to do.
You feel so badly like you want to go back to the center of this planet and be restored.
Okay, I will do this, but I have one question. What will happen to me?
You hear a voice, and it is so muffled that you cannot make out what it is saying, but it is saying something in this divine tone, this warm and loving tone. You can't quite make out what it says, but it says something that is reassuring.
Okay, I trust you. I'll get you back. But I need your help. I need you to fix whatever happened last time I touched the crystal. Help me. I need to be back at full strength.
I think if you were trying to, like, forge this connection again, if you are trying to, like, make this connection as strong as it once was, I think roll to use magic.
Ooh, yes. A 10 plus 2, 12.
I think communicate with something that you do not share language with absolutely applies here.
Yes.
You see her a little bit clearer now, and still not all the way there. You still know that there is something separating the two of you, but she is showing you more of her grace, and it feels unbelievable. And you can faintly see, like, a smile forming on her face. And as you do, you see another memory of hers. You see yourself in this crystal, and you're being passed around, sold from, like, curiosity shop to curiosity shop, or held as treasures throughout these different families. And you see other wars on this planet. You see all of these events happening, and you are just powerless to do anything. You are completely dormant but aware of your surroundings inside of this crystal, and horrified at what must be happening back home. And it's a terrible place to be until you end up in the possession of a family. And this family seems like really genuinely, like, good-hearted, unlike a lot of the people who have tried to possess you in the past. And you start to feel yourself, like, becoming closer with this family, and you are handed down through generations and generations and generations. And then, Aubrey, like, you are now aware that you are being shown this memory for a reason. You see your mom in the delivery room, and she is wearing this crystal as a pendant, and she is pushing, right? She is trying to deliver you, Aubrey, and you see one of the, like, nurses reach down to try and take the pendant off, and your mom just, like, leans over and bites her hand to keep her from doing that. And then, Aubrey, you are born, and Sylvain is with you.
It's a hole. A fucking hole. If you put a hole in the barrel, somebody give me a fucking stick so I can draw on the fucking dirt. If you put a hole in the barrel gets light. You can't put gas in the barrel. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Put a hole in the goddamn barrel, Thacker.
Oh, a hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
A hole. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, when you say it like that, it makes perfect sense. I understand
like that.
completely. Put a hole in the barrel. Does it matter how big the hole is? Could it be a little
Fucking
hole?
go. Seriously, don't. Beacon,
Okay.
get him.
All right.
Aubrey, you are awakened from your trance by this interaction, and you feel powerful again. You feel like you did before you touched the crystal. You catch a glimpse of yourself in the water. Your eyes are still orange, but you don't feel drained. You feel in a way you feel whole again.
Yeah, both of her hands ignite in flame. Yeah. Woo!
All right, now Duck steps over to the same place that Aubrey just was.
Oh, your turn? Okay.
And he stands in silence. And then you guys hear distantly, "Dear sword Jesus, it's been so long since oh, fucking, you promised me you had something real. Never mind. Sorry, guys. He said he had a real thing he had to do. I didn't realize you're just being a dipshit."
This whole time, Janelle has been like walking around the temple and just like poking at things and trying to just like get the lay of the land. And eventually you see her walk over to the edge of this temple and
She walks over to the edge and he's like, "See what over here?
yeah, what's up?
You think I'm a vertigo?
I've been waiting.
Why am I here?
Wait, that's
Where's Bono? You promised Bono was here."
You
He's
see her-
coming. He's coming. I promise. He just stopped for gas. He'll be here.
My dad knows Bono, I'm telling you.
The edge?
My dad, Ed Sr.
She takes a step off the edge of the temple into this pond, and this land, like beneath the water, rises up to meet her foot. And she just walks like that with this land rising up, keeping her out of the water until this stone platform rises up. And you all can see it. She illuminates it with the same sort of green torches, and it is just this large stone, like diamond-shaped plate in the ground, and it's surrounded on all sides by this like barricade of white rope that is tethered to these poles in the ground surrounding it. And Heathcliff walks over curiously to it, and he says, "Oh, you've found it. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I should have told you about that. Part of me hoped that I could still like continue wheezing the juice, as it were. But yes, that is where it is." And Janelle looks annoyed. Janelle says, "This is a door, or it's a well to be precise, that goes straight to the core. A straight shot, no resistance. This will get you there if," and she looks at you, Aubrey, and she says, "if you are ready to face what you will meet."
Sure. I know that didn't sound very definite, but like, yeah, okay. If you had asked me yesterday, probably no. But here we are. And so, yeah, sure.
And were you asking all of us or just...
Yeah, she looks at the two of you, too. She says, "Doc Thacker, are you ready?"
I mean, I'm damn near impervious, so I feel like in for a penny, in for a pound, right?
And I'm real old, and I really have been counting on, us not surviving this anyway. So, yeah, what the hell?
Character 3. Move on to young, sexy ingenue with a talent for daggers and a love for trouble.
Well, now I can't use it, Juice. Thanks.
Spoiled it.
That's mine now.
Heathcliff says, "Just a heads up, gravity starts to fail. The closer you get down there, it's going to feel super weird, actually. But
Cool.
it should keep you from just splattering against whatever's down there."
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to need gravity to fail.
Yeah.
We're going to fail.
You all step up onto the plate, and Janelle says, "I will shut the door behind you to ensure that the quell does not invade this sacred place. Aubrey, I've loved Sylvain as all of us do. All of us on this planet. All of us are born doing, but I care for you, Aubrey. Not just the goddess that shares your form, but for you, child. So please come home safe."
Oh, okay. Now that you've said something, I was just going to die. But now, no, of course I will, Janelle. Of course. Come on.
I know I shouldn't be saying this to the divine heart of my planet, but you can be a real butt sometimes.
I know, buddy. I know.
She raises her hand, and as she does so, you start to see these lines form in the plate below you, and the three of you are like lifting up slowly from this platform. And this diamond platform, it like splits into quarters, which start to rotate away. And as they do, they split further and further, and they just fracture into these perfectly symmetrical polygons that form a ring around you. And they're just crackling with energy as they rotate faster and faster. And then that energy dispels, and you are shot downwards like from a cannon, surging through ley lines and through the mantle of the planet. Hey everybody, this is Griffin McElroy. I'm your Dungeon Master, your best friend, and the starting quarterback for the 1997 Miami Dolphins. Thanks for listening to the Adventure Zone Amnesty, episode 35. So the next one, episode 36, is going to be the finale of the Adventure Zone Amnesty. We're wrapping it up in the next episode. And that's a wild thing to say. It's a wild thing to be true in my life right now. And it means that we're going to be moving on to the next story very soon, and we're going to be telling you about it very, very soon. Going to take a little break where we're going to put up some of our wild live shows that we've done recently, which have been other games, other worlds, other short stories. They've all been so fantastic, and I'm really excited that you all are going to finally hear them, and then excited that we're going to be able to tell you about what we're doing next. But yeah, the next episode is episode 36 is going to be the final episode of Amnesty, and I cannot tell you how much your support has meant to all of us and to me this season as we tried out this new thing. It's been great, and I hope that you have enjoyed this story, enjoyed your time in Kepler and Sylvain and everywhere else this season. We had to push this episode back a week, so the goal is to have the finale, episode 36, up next Thursday, September 19th. If you remember from Balance, the finale for that one was quite late because we wanted it to be, good. We wanted it to be, special and deserving of, the conclusion of the story we were telling. That will probably happen again here, but we will keep you in the loop as to when the finale is going up. And yeah, I'm excited to get there. But first, let me tell you about some of our sponsors for this episode. Our first sponsor is Quip. Quip is toothbrush. That's a little mnemonic device that I use. They are toothbrush, and they look really slick. It's a slick-looking, neo-futuristic toothbrush that I use. It vibrates, which is real nice, and it gets your teeth real clean. It's gentle on my delicate gum meat. And it's got this cover. It's got this multi-use cover. You can use it as a stand. It sticks right to your mirror. Or it can be like a little travel case. If you just flip the little toothbrush around, stick it right in there. Now it's a travel case. You can take it with you on the go, which I do every time I travel, which I do a lot. Also, you can sign up to get new brush heads automatically delivered on a dentist-recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. And it helps you keep your brush fresh and helps you stay committed to your oral health. So, Quip is perfect for getting back into a good toothbrushing routine. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/adventure right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/adventure. Also, I want to tell you about Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that finds and delivers clothes, shoes, and accessories to fit your body budget and lifestyle. We all use Stitch Fix to help get our fashion game right, help us look slick, help us look stylish. Whenever we do the red carpets now, whenever we're hanging out with Chris Pratt, we want to look good. So we go to Stitch Fix and we get our clothes from there. We work with a personal stylist. We tell them like what kind of sizes we wear, what styles we like, what our budget is. And then we get a personal stylist who handpicks items and they send them right to our door. And, I get to try them on. I pay for what I want, and I can send the rest back. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. There's no subscription, and the styling fee is just $20, which is applied towards anything you keep from your shipment. It's a really great service. So get started now at stitchfix.com/Taz, and you will get an extra 25% off when you keep all the items in your box. That's stitchfix.com/Taz to get started today. stitchfix.com/Taz. Thank you to everybody who's been tweeting about the show using the Zonecast hashtag. You're not going to end up as a character in Amnesty. I'm afraid the doors are closed on that, but who knows what comes next. Regardless, we really appreciate your support, and you all have been coming out in a big way for us as we move into the final episodes here. And we're going to gush and gush all over the place. That sounds gross, but we are as we finish up Amnesty, and yeah, anything you can do to help get your maybe geeky adjacent friends interested in the show, it means a lot. We've got a bunch of stuff at McElroy.family, including live show announcements and a bunch of merch. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Like fanny packs and pins and shirts and whatever the hell, man. I don't know what's on there. I don't have access to the internet, but you do, all at McElroy.family. We have other shows also that we are aligned with spiritually and emotionally at Maximum Fun. That is the network that we are a member of. Go to MaximumFun.org. Check out all the great shows there. Shows like Story Break, Beef and Dairy Network, and a whole lot more. That is going to do it for the ads. I'm going to let you get back to the rest of the episode here, the penultimate episode of the Adventure Zone Amnesty. Like I said earlier, episode 36, the next one is going to be the finale. Right now, the current plan is to have it up Thursday, September 19th, but we haven't recorded it yet, so God only knows if that is actually a realistic delivery date. We will keep you in the loop, though, as to when the finale is going to go up. And next time I talk to you, we'll be on the final episode, so see you then. Bye. The momentum catches you off guard as all of your senses return. You're standing on a small grassy island, and it's about 20 feet in diameter, and there's a warm wind blowing all around you, disturbing the grass on this small, lush plain, and then an object shoots by overhead, spun about by the breeze. It's another island, similar in size to your own, moving in a slightly faster orbit nearby. You stand in the core, and your body is light. You feel like you could drift away from this island at any second, but for whatever reason, your feet remain planted to the ground, and all around you, chunks of land from seemingly different biomes are all circling the center of this just like mile-wide chamber. As you survey all of these islands around you, you realize where they come from. Every surface, every wall of this chamber is just full of life. It's full of like trees and grass and rivers and lakes and sand dunes and canyons. Just all these reminders of the land that used to exist up on the surface, all just stored here around the perimeter of the core of the planet. And then your island that you're standing on, it begins to rotate. And as it does, the heart of the quell dawns over its horizon. It is a perfect sphere, the most perfect sphere to ever exist, just flawless and reflective and deep red, and it's casting this warm light off of itself in flashes, in pulses. It is completely motionless, and yet it is seething, and you can't figure out like how you know that. It just is, and all of you feel your teeth grit reflexively as it comes into view. There's no smoke, there's no cloud, there's nothing to obscure your vision. You stand in the core of the planet with the heart of the quell in the distance. What do you do?
I'm Sylvain. Hi.
The sphere rolls, and it's far away enough that you can't really figure out just how big it is, but when you like look at all of these islands in its orbit, you discern that it is like cosmic horror big. As it rolls just faster than your eyes can decipher, there is a new light that comes into view. At the center of the sphere's surface now, facing you, peering at you, is a hole in this flawless sphere. You see one of these huge islands like lose its orbit as the heart shifts and crashes into this enormous eye and is consumed and destroyed by it. And just instantly, a red tendril shoots out of this eye and crashes into the side of your island, just instantly branching to form a loop around it, just lassoing it and beginning to retract it towards the center of the room. And it's howling as it does, and it's letting out this deep, reverberant wail that rattles the walls of this chamber, forming cracks across the biomes. You see it drain a lake and just topple a forest, and you feel these reverberations in your bones and in your inner ear, and you're able to make out a voice that says, "So you've returned."
Yes?
I think she's talking to me, Sparky.
The quell says, "Indeed. I was not addressing you, Aubrey Little."
You refused to free me in the basement. You will be punished for that. How did you elude me, Arlo Thacker?
Well, the last time I kind of just give in to you. I just kind of let you do that magic that you do, and I didn't fight you and kind of roll with the punches. Kind of open myself up to you. You remember before I told you, if there's any way to avoid us having to slug it out, I think we ought to try to do that.
It is nice to have you back, even now, at the end. And the eye turns back towards you now, Aubrey.
I'm sorry, you probably didn't hear me before because I was a little far away, but I'm Sylvain, so there's no need for the end.
Act under pressure.
An 8. Plus 0, so an 8.
Small, wiry tendrils whip out of the side of the larger tendril that is wrapped around your island, and they all whip at you, Aubrey, and you reflexively, you are able to dodge out of the way of them, but 2 of them whip across your stomach, and as you dodge away, and you take 2 harm.
Okay.
And you hear the Quell say, "This is heresy." And the eye shifts at you, Duck. And you hear the Quell say, "I do not know this one."
Oh, yeah. I'm the only one you don't have a history with, huh? You're probably wondering why I'm here. And, yeah, I mean, I could wonder the same thing, honestly. But I guess we're just trying to get things a little calm. Seems like both our worlds are getting torn apart, and we're just hoping that you'll kind of pump the brakes a little bit.
The eye, now unfocuses from all of you and opens wider, and it starts to retract this island deeper towards it, even faster now. And you hear the Quell say, "It is centuries too late for us to find peace. I tried to warn you. You should have stayed where you were, to perish with the rest of them."
I'm going to do some big magic.
Jesus. Okay.
So Aubrey is going to close her eyes and say, "Okay, Sylvain, it's time. This is, it's time to do our stuff."
This is big magic, right? You are trying to conjure up Sylvain.
Correct.
I am going to say I get to decide what the requirements are for this big magic.
Correct.
I am going to say you need 2 people to help, clearly.
Yeah.
And in the context of this, I think that just means keeping you alive as you are attempting to do this, because the other thing that I'm going to say that this requires is the spell will take a long time to cast.
Okay.
Duck and Thacker, you see Aubrey close her eyes in the same sort of meditative state that you saw her upstairs. And the eye whips towards her as she does this, and does not slow its retraction. You are now getting close enough to this thing that the heat from it is getting a little bit unbearable. And Aubrey does not seem to respond to it.
All right, then I think this is where Thacker would use Psychic Event and maybe do that to try to calm it down.
Okay, roll, I guess, plus weird.
10 plus 2 for weird. That's a 12.
Very weird.
Really weird.
That's like
guys.
Weird Al
Extremely
levels of
weird.
Yeah.
Lot of
Not
weird.
the weirdest it could be, but definitely weird.
Extremely weird.
You gain a definite impression about something important. Here's what I'm going to give you. As it is right now, the Quell is furious beyond reason. The Quell is as single-minded as anything could possibly be. And right now, you are standing in the way of its unimaginable violence. That is what the Quell is operating on right now. All of your pleas for peace or whatever are just not being heard whatsoever. But the thing I will also give you is that deep, deep, deep inside there, you sense a small bit of sadness at just the mention of Sylvain's name. It's not enough to like make the quell, change its mind right now. It's not enough to like derail its mission, its crusade, but it is there. But it is behind this wall of just raw, violent power. Duck, what do you do?
I'm just gonna try to talk to it.
Okay.
Hey, I know you don't know me from Adam up there, Ego, but can you just like calm down? What is the rush right now? I'll be honest with you, man. I'm barely hanging in there in terms of comprehension. All right, I'm a forest ranger by trade. I'm extremely out of my depth. Can you just like walk me through what you are pissed off about right now? Maybe you're right. That's something we learned we had to take a conflict mediation class last year, and it used up half my damn day. And I was pretty pissed at the time, but I did learn like sometimes it's just about like fucking listening. You know what I mean? Like where are you at right now? Maybe you're right. I have no clue.
Have you told it your name? Have you said it out loud?
My name's Duck. It's a nickname.
You hear it say, Duck. I do not need a reason to destroy. Duck. I am destruction. Duck. And you see tendrils start to whip out of the larger tendril that is holding onto your island, the same kind that struck Aubrey.
Now wait a minute, hold on. If you kill me, I can't tell you my real name. I know you're curious. You're curious, aren't you, you big crazy planet?
Act under pressure, Duck.
Oh, it is a 6.
Plus what?
Cool, 8.
Okay. Can I help out?
Well, you would only bring him up to a 9. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to do that unless Aubrey could help too.
I'm busy.
I don't usually deal with this one, but hell, it's finale season. I'm going to give you a worse outcome. These tendrils are like raising up in the air like cobras about to strike. And then you all hear the wind next to you just whistling, and you look over just in time to see another island collide with your own. And both of them shatter, and the three of you go flying. And now you are just caught in the orbit of this thing. Aubrey, you are still in this meditative state. You are just limp, flying in the air. And Thacker and Duck, you are no longer standing on anything. You are just sort of floating around the orbit of this planet, of the Quell, with these islands all around. You are meditating. What does this look like? What does this big magic look like?
So I think it kind of looks like a conversation a little bit. I think she's trying to communicate with Sylvain, and I think it's mostly right now going like, listen, I know like that you were hurt. You showed me you were hurt, and that is scary, and it took you a long time to even trust us enough to even connect with me like this, but it's time. Let's fix it, right?
You are talking to this silhouette of Sylvain, and you feel it trying to open up to you. You feel it trying to like give you the power that you need right now to give you what you need to stop the Quell, but she's just incapable of doing so. As you are in this meditative state, you feel yourself become somewhat vulnerable psychically, and as you're having this conversation in just this void, you see flecks of red start to float upwards from the floor. I need you to act under pressure.
A 9.
Plus cool.
Plus cool is 0, so a 9.
Mixed success.
What if... Okay.
I mean, she's in a psychic vision, like I don't know how.
And I have psychic powers.
Oh, that's a good point.
Could I help out?
Yes, absolutely. Why don't you roll to help out, plus cool.
Damn.
Wow, that's double 6s, folks.
12 minus 1. So minus 1 cool.
Thacker
So that's
cool.
11.
All right.
That's generous.
That bumps Aubrey up to a complete success.
Complete success.
Here is what happens.
All right.
We're in the finale. It's going to be dramatic. Please, no more Borat.
Okay, that's your opening offer is no more Borat. I'm going to come in at 3 Borat. And we'll see where
Now
we
I'm
end
willing
up.
to do 2 Borat and a Napoleon Dynamite.
Aubrey, you feel this space where you are trying to talk to Sylvain. You see it drift away. And then you hear the Quell's voice. Interesting. Aubrey Little, I did not know. The guilt that you have carried with you since that night must be unbearable. You harbor such hatred and such shame. I can take that away. And then, Aubrey, you are standing in the living room of your old house. And it's nighttime, and there's soft moonlight spilling in through the windows that are... it's illuminating the familiar trappings of your youth, and whatever brief moment of warmth or whatever you may feel is interrupted when you notice your father's unconscious body laying at your feet with a trickle of blood coming from his head. And at the top of the stairs, you catch a glimpse of a strange man up in the collections room with a flashlight in hand. And in front of you, you see yourself, and you're on the ground with your eyes closed, and there's a burly silhouette kneeling over you, checking your vitals before nervously returning to the foyer. You see Ned, and he's panicked and he's angry, and he runs up the stairs and he's shouting for his partner's attention, just begging him to leave. And you see yourself lift up off the floor, and you float behind Ned, and you point at the man upstairs, who looks at you just agog, as Ned does, as you see your hair begin to float up and your eyes turn bright orange, and you hold the fist up in the air, and a ball of flame erupts at the top of the stairs, and then it freezes. In this moment where you are trying to forge this connection with Sylvain, you left yourself vulnerable, and you start to see this scene crackle and turn red, and you feel just rage, external rage coursing through you. And then you hear Thacker shouting at you as if from down a long corridor. What does he say?
Aubrey, don't give in to it.
Thacker? Are you in my house?
No,
I'm in my... This is my house when I was a kid.
No, come back. Come on. Hey,
What?
wake up. Wake up. Did it work?
As you are distracted by Thacker's tomfoolery, you see this red crackling start to drift away, and you feel this rage start to subside.
I think she walks over to herself.
Okay.
I think she gently lays a hand on her own cheek and says, "It's not your fault."
The scene starts to move now very slowly. You see this ball of fire detonate in just this bright flash of light. And as it fades, you turn and you see Sylvain with Alexandra standing at her side. Duck, you are floating in orbit around the Quell, and its eye is following you. You are surrounded by these shards of earth and stone, and you see some of them get caught in the orbit and slam into other islands and just get destroyed. You are floating through space. What do you do?
Am I able to control my
Trajectory?
Thank you. That is exactly the word. At all?
What do you try to do to control your trajectory?
Is there stuff flying by?
There's shards and planks of stone and stuff.
All right, here's what I do. Are there some within reach?
Yeah, sure.
All right. While I'm floating in space, I see a big, sharp-looking log fly above me, and I pull out beacon and I whip make it go corded. I go whip shaped and whip around it and spin around in the air as much as possible and try to chuck it at the quell.
Okay. Why don't you?
I don't even know if the physics of that fucking makes sense, but that's the only thing I can do.
We're in a
to
magical
do.
land, Justin.
Yeah, I mean the physics can be whatever you want them to be. Are you trying to hurt the quell? What are you trying to do?
Distract it.
Okay.
I hope that the quell cannot be damaged by some hastily flung logs.
Turns out driftwood was his one weakness.
His one weakness. He's like a space Dracula.
Then I think this is kick some ass.
Okay.
Right, or if you're trying to distract it, I guess it could be act under pressure.
Yeah, I feel like probably act under pressure makes more sense, even though
Okay.
They're the same stat. For
Sure.
me, so.
Go ahead and act under pressure, Duck. That
10
holy
plus
shit, guys!
2.
That's a 12.
Right there when I need it.
You can take the advanced move. You may do either what you wanted to do and something extra, or you can do what you wanted with absolute perfection.
I want to do what I wanted with absolute perfection.
What is it?
I want to chuck that piece of wood, and it's spinning end over end, and it just like jabs in at the wildest and most improbable angle. I want this thing to be afraid of me. I want it to wonder what the fuck I am, because it doesn't have any relationship to me, and I just want its attention. All I'm trying to get to is I just want it to focus on me so Aubrey can finish her business.
Okay. You chuck this huge log into its side, and it just spears into the quell, and and the room like vibrates. You said like the flawless surface of this sphere. You send like a ripple through it, and that ripple like turns sharp as it goes. Like you see little cubes appear in the ripple as it is injured in this way, and it roars. And you see it as you like sort of come around the circle. You see that it was reaching towards Aubrey with just this like a splash of red fluid that is just sort of like emitting from its side, trying to just envelop her. And as you stab into it, you see that splash like spasm and fall limp and get sucked back up into the surface.
Now, now this is why it's so important in a conflict to keep focused on everybody else's needs. Because if you had been focused on my need right then, you would have totally seen that big stupid log coming at your dumb ass.
Its eye turns towards you, and it was kind of a bright yellow light before. Now it is furious red like the rest of it, and parts of its body, just like splashes of red fluid, begin to whip out of it towards you, Duck, trying to envelop you. Thacker, it's your turn.
How close is Thacker to Duck?
You were standing on this.
They don't know each other that well. It's only been a few weeks, but there's sparks.
You are in the same orbit, so I would say like you are fairly close to Duck. You could get to him.
Okay, I tell you what. I think Thacker's going to continue the same strategy. He wants to distract the quell too.
Okay.
So he throws his spiked walking stick at it.
Okay.
It's act under pressure. It's the same thing he did, isn't it?
I will give that to you. You are not going to hurt it at all.
I know. Just distract
Okay.
it.
Oh my God, guys, that's a 10.
Holy shit.
What the fuck's going on? Okay.
It's the power of love, Griffin.
Oh, but wait, it's a 9 because you acted under pressure and you have -1 cool.
Except
There he goes.
Here he goes.
when you have to act under pressure due to a monster, phenomenon, or mystical effect, you may roll plus weird instead of plus cool.
This is about a monster if you think about it.
Okay, yeah. You set out to do...
So it's a 12.
It's a 12. You set out to do what you want to do. What happens, Thacker?
Hopefully it'll distract it enough that the tendrils will move towards me instead of Duck.
Okay, yeah, you throw your walking stick at it. and you throw it like near where this huge log has pierced into its side, and you're.
It's just like Jason Statham and Meg. Hey, over here, and smack in the water.
I can't believe you
Meg
just
heads
referenced
for him.
fucking Meg on our podcast.
Everyone.
If only there was a more well-known shark movie you could have referenced.
You throw your spear like near where the log jabbed into its side, and because it is so much smaller, I think it just kind of like it gets in there a little bit and sort of dink, and you watch it fly off back into the orbit. But it does enough to make the quell turn back towards you, Thacker. And there's something about you that is just like inherently distracting to the quell. You are
and everybody else.
yeah,
really.
You are a mystery to this thing. Like you figured that out when you just got inside its head. You are the only thing to ever be under its influence and then not be. So it turns towards you, Thacker, and sure enough, like its tendrils just kind of curve in the air, and they start to wrap around you. Aubrey, this scene of the night of the robbery is moving in slow motion. The fire has just started to spread upstairs. You see both of the men in this room like react to it in slow motion, and there is Sylvain. She takes a step towards you, and Alexandra does too. And then Alexandra kind of like shakes out of it a little bit and then looks up at Sylvain and then looks at you, and she says, "She dwelled within you your entire life, Aubrey, up to this moment. And she watched you grow up, and she loved you and loved who you became. And then in this moment, Aubrey, when you were in danger, she finally managed to wrest control of the wheel, and in an effort to protect you, Aubrey, she destroyed your life. This is why she went into hiding, Aubrey. From the world, from the quell, from you. She couldn't bear what she did to you and your family."
You know, for an all-powerful God of creation and love, you're pretty dense.
Both of them look horrified. Well, no. Alexandra looks horrified. Sylvain looks kind of in shock.
Listen, hear me out, okay? You've been with me, right? So for the last, however long it's been, year, I don't know, it all blends together, right? Me and Duck and Ned and now Thacker and Mama and Barclay, we've all been trying to help people, right? And sometimes you fuck up. Sometimes people get hurt. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you act and you do things and you're wrong. And if you let the fact that you fucked up stop you from trying to help again, that's the real mistake. I've fucked up so many times. You can't be afraid to help because, yeah, you might hurt. But you also might help. You just have to keep helping. Don't be afraid. I'm not. I trusted you. You said, I don't know what you said, but it made me feel like it would be okay. And I believe you. And now you have to believe me. It's gonna be okay. We can do this. Don't be afraid.
As you are talking to her, as you are saying these things, the scene continues, and you see the two men run down the stairs by you as you're speaking, and you see Sylvain truly take her form. She looks like you, Aubrey, and that may just be an effect of how she came back into the world, but she looks like you. Her hair is like this radiant, shifting color. She has these bright orange eyes that are starting to well with tears, and she walks up to you and she clasps her hands around one of your hands, and she smiles, and she gives you a kiss on the forehead, and it blows your mind. She's a deity, and it's a wild thing that nobody has ever experienced before. and she takes a step back. And then she kind of cocks her head and grins, and she points behind you. You see the house beginning to give way to the flames. There's some of the infrastructure has started to collapse in the flames, and framed in the doorway, cast in this wild orange light, you see Ned dragging you and your father to safety as the embers drift past him and up into the quiet night air. And Aubrey, you are awake. You see Thacker enveloped in the Quell's form, starting to pull him in. You see Duck furiously trying to free him. What do you do?
I don't think you heard me. I said, I am Sylvain.
Instantly, the Quell retracts its tendrils, and Duck and Thacker go flying. And the eye whips towards you, Aubrey, and you can tell it is terrified and overjoyed all at the same time. And those three words boom through the chamber. And Duck and Thacker, as you're flying around, you're catching glimpses of Aubrey, and she is just this bright orange flame. And you see this flame, as she yells this phrase, just radiate through the chamber, and now like the gentle earthquakes that were sort of tearing apart the biomes around this room, they go ballistic, and everything is shaking violently, and you see just like parts of the chamber just like ripping off the walls, and like you see trees and rocks and rivers just slowly migrating toward the Quell in the center of this chamber. And there is a large fissure in the ceiling that is spreading further and further apart, and slabs of rock are just falling through it into this like increasing cascade of things that are now caught in the orbit around the Quell, and its tendril is close to you.
Aubrey reaches out her hand.
And as they touch, light spreads from your finger, it spreads from the tendril, and everything goes silent. From the fissure above, all of you see the crystalline heart of Sylvain, now filled with searing, brilliant orange light as it falls into the chamber like a heavenly spear, and the Quell's eye gently closes. When your senses return, the chamber that you were just in has changed dramatically. The three of you are still just kind of floating, but you're no longer swirling around in this violent orbit. In front of you, instead of seeing this perfect red sphere, now all you see is Sylvain. She's floating in front of you with Alexandra at her side, and you also notice that, like, the chaos that had overtaken this room, all of these pieces of earth and all of these chunks of those biomes all around the walls have slowly started to move back into place like pieces of a puzzle. And Sylvain takes a step towards you, and she is just surrounded by these, like, orange sparks, almost like fireflies, with Alexandra at her side, and she just looks at the three of you, and she flashes this big, toothy grin.
Hello, your planet ship?
I think Duck takes a knee and kind of puts Beacon in front of him and sort of in a sort of knightly pose.
Thacker, what do you do?
Well, this is basically somebody he's devoted his whole life to. I mean, well, studying
Yeah, sure.
Sylvain and archiving all the things, and I think he's just kind of stunned. I think he just, like a single tear runs down his cheek, and he's just overcome. He's just stunned. I don't think he says a damn thing.
Sylvain kind of grimaces a little bit, and Alexandra says, "Oh gosh, none of that's necessary. Oh gosh, I mean, thank you, and it's really good to see the three of you alive and well. I don't know what thank you, obviously.
You're welcome. How about that? Yeah. Huh? I think for Aubrey, this is probably like, at least the way that it probably feels like suddenly talking to an older sibling.
Right.
That
yeah.
like you've both always had and never known, and like feel connected to, but also like don't really know all that well, and like it's got to be both like bizarre and comforting at the same time.
Yeah. She actually flies very quickly towards you, Aubrey, and kind of like pushes you back in the air with like just a big hug. She has watched you grow up your entire life, and now like she can touch you, and it is like it's all she wants to do is give you a big hug.
Does Aubrey feel any better? Or not better, but does Aubrey feel any different? I'm curious as a listener, an outside observer. This is not necessarily Duck asking, because this is all way fucking out of his pay grade. But I'm curious if like Aubrey's been kind of a vessel, I guess, for so long. Like, do you feel different with her not being inside of you?
That's a good question, Griffin. Do they still feel connected? Does Aubrey still feel magical?
I'm not going to answer that. I think that she pulls away from you, and she like cups your face in her hands and looks at you and kind of pulls away a little bit, and she says, and Alexandra says, "So, Aubrey, what does this mean for us?"
Are you breaking up with me?
No, you... Aubrey, you've never known a life without my presence dwelling within you, but you've finally brought me home, so what's next?
I mean, I've enjoyed... Wow, I was going to say working with you, but that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface. I like being connected to you. We have done a lot of cool things and a lot of good for people, and I mean, listen, I'm open to staying in touch, as it were, staying connected, but I don't want to take you away from your home.
Aubrey, when was the last time someone asked you what you wanted? And as she says that, you realize that was the thing that she said to you that you couldn't quite understand when you were in the temple above. What do you want, Aubrey?
Wow. I'll be honest with you, Sylvain, that is a big old question, right? Because right now, on like kind of the low end is like a sandwich. Like I'm really hungry. We've been doing a lot of shit today, and I haven't eaten. I had like a breakfast bar. Other than that, since basic. Ugh.
I offered you Gorp.
I'm not eating that disgusting shit, Thacker.
She says, "No, Aubrey, I can be with you and be with my world and my people. I can keep you with me and work with you from within. Tell me what you want, Aubrey. Your destiny is no longer bigger than you, Aubrey. What do you want?"
I'd like to be able... I want to be able to explore and to experience and to make my own decisions, but I don't want to do that without you. Listen, can I be honest with you? I like having power. I like being able to help people and protect myself and protect my friends, and I like that. I don't want to lose that. But I also want to be able to live a life where I make decisions and sometimes take a day off when I need to, and sometimes just stay in bed and watch cartoons if I need to. So like
She kind of like rolls her eyes back like, "Oh, yeah."
right? And just like eat pizza without having to worry if me taking a day off is going to destroy the world.
Alexandra says, "I think we're both owed that." And she nods at you and kind of hovers away. And then she looks over at you, Thacker, and sees you with this tear in your eye. She floats over to you, and Alexandra says, "The three of you saved this world and saved me. But, Thacker, it's because of you that the Quell was spared also. I thank you, Thacker, thank you."
It was my honor to do this, and I thank you for giving me a purpose in my life.
She grins, and Alexandra says, "You've got more going on than just that, Thacker. Know this, though. The path that the Quell walked is not so easily traveled in reverse. The threat is ended, yes, but I pray that one day the Quell will return to me." And she bows. And then she floats over to you, Duck, where you are kneeling on the ground, and just kind of looks down on you gracefully.
We don't really need a thing. I know you and I don't really know each other, but we don't need to do I don't feel like shortchanged if we don't do a thing. This is all cool. This is all great, though. I'm very pleased. Don't think that I'm I'm thrilled. I just don't feel like we have to do and I miss you the most of all, Duck, because we're not. It's fine. It really is fine.
She smiles and just kind of shrugs, and she just puts a hand on your shoulder for a second, and it is the wildest feeling you've ever felt in your entire life. And then she walks backward towards Alexandra, and she nods at Alexandra, who walks towards the three of you and stands near you, and light starts to fill this chamber.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, light goes away from the chamber.
Listen, Sylvain, I don't know how many opportunities the three of us are gonna get to speak face to face to, a god. There's been so much destruction and anger, and we've lost friends, and what happens now? What happens?
She smiles and floats over to you and just points at you. And she places a hand on your heart, and she just grins. And Alexandra at your side says, "We'll figure it out together." And then the chamber's filled with light, and your vision fades. Aubrey and Thacker, the two of you awaken in a bed of flowers. And the sky above is a pale blue. There's a flock of birds, actual birds, not monster birds, that fly overhead, and you track them. While laying on the ground, you track them until your vision is obscured by a towering orange crystal that is symmetrical and sprawling outward like the crown of a tree. And as the two of you sit up, you see the city of Sylvain as you never have before. You see it in daylight. And you see the survivors that were inside the castle, that they've moved outside. They're moving the barricades away into the courtyard here, and they are seeing to the Sylvans that are beginning to awaken on the street. Aubrey, you see one of them nursing a bruised, very badly kicked hand. And all of these people waking up on the street are just like shaking their heads. They're bleary-eyed as if they're awakening from a long slumber. And near you, you see Vincent, who is tending to Alexandra and Duck, both of whom have yet to awaken. And Janelle is sitting with her back against the crystal, just so weary. She looks at you as you sit up, Aubrey, and Janelle says, "Aubrey, I have great news. You can touch the crystal whenever your heart so desires."
I'm cool for right now.
She smiles and she says, "I know it's time for celebration, but do you think they'd let us take a nap first?"
Oh my God, you read my mind. Oh, I'm going to say as saviors of an entire planet, maybe even dimension, not sure how it works, I think we can probably take a nap whenever the fuck we want.
She laughs and she says,
"Also a sandwich, if I could get a sandwich. I'm so hungry."
"I'm not your maid?"
I'm not asking you.
Okay.
Janelle, you can have a sandwich too. If someone could bring us just a big party platter.
As you're looking for a party platter, you hear a voice booming from the entrance to the courtyard that says, "Hear me, voices of evil, Oh." And you look over and see Agent Stern with just like a big baseball bat that he's holding. And he says, "Oh, is it done?"
Yeah.
"Oh, y'all were gone for a while. I thought maybe we should come help."
Do you have a kind bar?
And in walks with him Mama and Minerva and Danny. And Mama's like, "Yeah, thank you. You missed your hero window there, bud." And Danny is just beaming, just like from being back home and seeing that you survived, Aubrey. She's like looking all around, and when she sees you, she runs and just like tackles you to the ground. And she picks you up and looks at you, and she says, "So I have a super weird story to tell you that you are not going to believe."
Oh, me too. Oh man.
No, trust me. Mine's gonna blow your mind.
Oh, really? Because mine too.
No, seriously. Okay.
You want to say it on 3? We'll say it on 3.
Okay. One,
okay.
2, 3. Dr.
I had
Harris
Sylvain
Bonkers
living inside of
walks
me, and then she. Wait, what did you say?
What did you say?
I had Sylvain living inside me. What about Dr. Harris Bonkers?
He walks on 2 legs and stuff now. You had Sylvain inside of you?
Yeah, apparently this whole fucking time, since I was born, Sylvain, the goddess of, your planet, was inside this one, and she does the 2 thumbs, and then we went downstairs and jumped down a pit, and then I talked to Sylvain. She popped out, stopped the quell, and then we hugged. What's up? I hugged your god, and then she was we totally chilled for a bit, and then we're back here, and I saved your planet. But I'm not going to play down your thing, because I would like to hear about my bunny that apparently is now the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
So can I still hang out with you?
Oh, absolutely. But do know, hey, I want you to know, because she's not we've got kind of a timeshare thing going on, but I want you to know, when we kissed, you were kissing a god. What's up?
She falls backward and
I know.
Is about to faint. She's like, "All right, can we slow it down?"
Yeah,
slow it down.
I know. Hey, what's that like, huh? You were kissing a god. And every time I ate burritos, a god was eating burritos.
Mama walks over to you, Thacker, and helps you up to your feet. And she says, "So, just old times, huh? Kinda?"
I don't know there, Maddie. I don't know if I've ever had any old times quite like that. I tell you though, it was really cool, and I got so much to write down. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do.
Hey, easy there, partner. How about?
Are you feeling all right? Are you doing all right?
Oh yeah, I feel top notch, bud. But I think maybe let's put a brief hiatus on the work we have to do. I think it's probably time we celebrate maybe our retirement from monster hunting.
Oh, screw retirement. It ain't. Retirement's not for me. No, I got a lot of stuff to do. Maybe a little break. How about a hiatus?
What do you say we go celebrate the old way down at Brewster's Pub, huh? Assuming it's assuming it's still standing.
Shuffleboard and wings? Yeah.
Duck, finally you wake up.
Next time I'm gonna be unconscious, let me know, man. I'll go hit the head or get a power bar or something.
You glimpse around to see what your cohorts saw a minute ago. You see the planet beginning to revive, and you also see Minerva, and her battle robe is slightly torn, and she is towering above you, blocking out the sun, and she says, "Welcome back, Doc Newton."
Oh, man, thank you. How did you hold up? How was the fight and everything?
She nods and she says, "We did very well. It seems you did also."
Yeah, I didn't actually end up beating a lot of ass. I mean, I'm glad I got to see it and everything, but I don't know. I hope I played my part.
She kind of grins and looks to the side and bends over, and a few feet away, she picks up Beacon out of the grass and hands it to you. And she says, "You've done the impossible, Duck Newton. You did what I could not. You saved 2 worlds. Remarkable."
I don't know about that. That seems very generous, but if I'm anything at all, a little part of this, I owe it all to you. Thanks for. I never said this, but thanks for picking me. I know it was kind of random and stuff, but thanks. Hey, what's going on? You seem kind of preoccupied.
She sits down now, and she looks over at you and she says, "You know what's wrong, Duck Newton. The Quell, it wasn't the one who orchestrated the attacks on your world. We missed something, Duck Newton."
I mean, I'm not going to say it's not in the back of my head, but I don't know, Nerva. What do you want me to do about it? I mean, I'm in there fighting with gods, and I'm a strong guy with a sword and, pretty good constitution. I mean, can't we just leave well enough alone?
She says, "I don't know if we're going to have the option." And you hear a faint whining noise in the distance, just miles away. You start to see like a line forming in the sky in the distance, and she says, "Duck Newton, that archway, it's not a rift, Duck. It is a tunnel. I believe it's a tunnel through." And then she looks around in a panic and she says, "Duck Newton, you've been conscious for 134 seconds." And she leans in close and she grabs your shoulders and she says, "You have 134 seconds to stop them." And then the sky is torn in 2. Roll plus weird.
6, 5.
Shit.
You know what? I'm going to use a luck point. I don't even know what the fuck this is. But, we ain't going that much longer. I'm going to use a luck point.
Okay.
Jack that up to 12.
The sky is torn in 2. A rift miles long appears in the distance, and through it, Duck, you see stars. More vividly than you've ever seen them before. And there is a bright light through the rift too, and a heat, an unbearable heat. And then it comes into focus. This rift empties into outer space, into an unsurvivable orbit with a nearby bright white star. And the heat hits first, miles away. The land beneath this scar in the sky is just evaporated and then ripped from the ground. And you see just the surface of this world in the distance peeled upward, just shattering and flying upward into the scar. And then Minerva looks at you, and Minerva says, "It's time to confront," and then she's gone. As is everyone around you. They are just ripped from Sylvain's gravitational pull in an instant. And the castle nearby breaks apart into the vacuum, just burning as it flies into space. The whole of the city flies into this scar. It devours everything in sight, leaving only you, Duck. You are weightless and floating as you survey the destruction. You survey this beam of white-hot light that is pouring through the rift, just immolating everything in its path. And that's when you remember you've seen this vision before. This is what you saw the night of your first vision, of your first encounter with Minerva. This was the first revelation you were ever granted about your destiny. It's a dream no longer. It is here. And then that scene is gone. Now you are standing by the archway in Sylvain. The opaque white light inside of the archway begins to fracture. And then you open your eyes and you see Minerva standing above you, blocking out the sun. And she says, "Welcome back, Doc Newton."
We're out of time.
She opens her eyes with shock and then lowers a hand to pick you up from the ground.
We got 128 seconds.
She nods and she says, "What do we do?"
We gotta close the gate.
She looks over down the main drag at the hill with the archway standing on it, and she says, "I'll clear the way." And she begins just charging down the main drag, just knocking everybody out of the way in almost a football play, just barreling through, making a line for you. What do you do?
I'm just charging after her, just following in her wake as we run to the gate, and I'm screaming, "Anybody, please, for the love of God, come on, anybody, we gotta close the gate now. We have 108 seconds."
As soon as Duck and Minerva starts running, I'm going to say that Aubrey just goes.
Okay.
And Thacker follows.
Mama does too, for sure. Mama follows, and Agent Stern follows after. Vincent also stands up from where he was standing over Alexandra and begins charging after, yelling
Clear the way! Move!
98 seconds!
You charge down the main drag, and hearing Vincent's voice and seeing this enormous woman charging towards them, people start to jump out of the way as your group charges upwards, up the stairs, up to the plaza with the archway. Minerva says, "What did you see, Duck? What did you see?"
They're opening a fissure, and it's gonna suck everybody the hell out into space. It's bad. It's real bad.
What do we do, Duck?
We gotta close this fucking gate.
Vincent, is there a spell? Is there a way to close the gate?
If there was a way to close the gate, Aubrey, we would have done it long ago.
You guys ever tried C4?
See what?
Boom block. Come on, C4, bomb, explode, boom, boom,
Agent Stern
boom.
speaks up and he's like, "Duck, that is pretty dangerous stuff.
You want to see dangerous stuff? Chill out another 78 seconds.
Okay, listen. Pro and con, real quick. Con, we'll close the door. We'll probably be stuck over here. Pro, I trust Duck. So plant that shit.
I'm already planning it. I'm getting the bomb and planting it on the gate.
Everybody,
How are we gonna detonate? How we gonna detonate it?
We'll figure out something.
everybody scoot back.
Yeah, take cover. That stuff's gonna be potent.
Yeah, everybody starts lining up behind the columns, just stacking up to find shelter from the blast.
Aubrey, you already been a god today. You think you can handle being a fuse?
Sure, yeah, why not? And Aubrey closes her eyes and starts magicking.
Duck, you're right next to Minerva, who is grinning. She is surprisingly excited for what's about to happen, and she puts a hand on your shoulder and looks down at you, and she says, I'm with you to the end, Duck Newton.
And Duck leans in real close. You can call me Wayne.
And Aubrey opens her eyes and says, abracadabra, and shoots the blast of fire.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.
Hello there, ghouls and gals. It is I, April Wolf. I'm here to take you through the twisty, scary, heart-pounding world of genre cinema on the exhilarating program known as Switchblade Sisters. The concept is simple. I invite a female filmmaker on each week, and we discuss their favorite genre film. Listen in closely to hear past guests like the Babadook director, Jennifer Kent, Winter's Bone director, Deborah Granick, and so many others every Thursday on MaximumFun.org. Tune in if you dare.
It's actually a very thought-provoking show that deeply explores the craft and philosophy behind the filmmaking process while also examining film through the lens of the female gaze. So, you should listen.
Switchblade Sisters.
Hi, this is Rachel McElroy.
Hello, this is Griffin McElroy.
And this is wonderful.
It's a podcast that we do as we are married. And how's the ad going so far? Because I think it's going very good.
We talk about things we like every week on Wednesdays.
One time Rachel talked about pumpernickel bread. It was so tight. You cannot afford to miss her talking about this sweet brown bread.
We also talk about music and poems and, weather.
There was one time Rachel talked about Baby Beluga, this song, for like 14 minutes, and it just really blew my hair back.
So check us out on MaximumFun.org.
It's a cool podcast with chill vibes. Amber is the color of our energy, is what all the iTunes reviews say.
They will now.